Taking a pill, so I'm getting a headache, y'all. I might have to take one. I don't want to get a seizure in front of y'all. I'll be like, I drink coconut water, but I don't trust this coconut water no more. So I ordered a crate of 12 coconuts, y'all, from the Caribbean. That's what I was looking for. It's a crate. They ship it. My boy in Jamaica, he has like 100 coconut trees. He's the one that ships it to me. So I pay him like $150 for 12 coconuts. Big, I gotta bust them down and machete and straw and drink it. So I think I'm gonna order 4 more crates just to have. I don't trust this coconut water coming out of Mexico. It's bullshit. Y'all see the Mexican authority. They robbed homegirl, the motherfuckers murdered in North Carolina. They robbed her. The fucking sorry ass Chino motherfuckers. They ain't mestizos. They ain't people I know. They don't do that shit. Not the ones I know. Motherfuckers. The shit that took her ass to Costa Rica, they'd have beat them motherfucking sorry niggas' asses. Y'all murdered her, they wouldn't have let him get away. They'd have been in jail right now in Costa Rica, I'm telling you. Or Chile. Their asses would have been in jail. Stupid niggas. That stuff, that has me angry, y'all. Coming out of Carolinas. I'm telling you, man, let me put you in the arm bar. Let me get you in a leg lock. Let me motherfucking shit. Yeah, damn. Country boy can't survive. Charleston White got a new song called Chicago. That nigga cutting up, boy. You emotionally unstable motherfuckers about to get it. Oh, have y'all been paying attention to how many gang members have been coming over? They've been like, they feeling it. They're like, yeah, man, fuck this shit. No, real ones, like real ones. Like they ain't speaking bad about the team, but they realizing the real drip. You know what I'm saying? God damn it. Oh, that's better. I'm sitting on the pillow. Oh, the pillow's better on my head too. Sitting on this hard air. This is one of my chairs. I got like 5 of them. I use it up here. I like this motherfucker. It don't go nowhere else. I got one for the truck, got one for outside, and one for come through. So we're gonna be getting this reading in here shortly. I gotta practice this because let's say I get to 3,500, right? And I decide to tell the story over a week. So that way people I gotta show y'all this. Okay. Oh, let me show you this too. I gotta put it in my. I gotta open my. I can't show you my my vaults, but I can show you what I had to bring in from the truck. For you motherfuckers that are always skeptical and speculating on shit, this proof of life. And maybe that could add to my headache. And clothes I had to fold up. Now, I don't know if this is no copy. I put no copyright, but it's for the specific music. No royalty free, no copyright. This got Mo, and if you can't get from look, Dan Calloway, my brother 38 years as captain in the army. You can't even keep up with this kind of work. Or my knowledge, not knocking you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. I remember you came on the scene from that Morris bullshit, but you came on. I was telling everybody to go and follow you, because you ain't had but about 1,200 followers at the time. And they was like, why don't you do one? You know all that. Nope. I've been stubborn. Then Phoenix came and all the infighting, all the sonnet, all them goofy motherfuckers. Here I am. Here I is. And motherfuckers don't even want to come and get the tea. Isn't that funny? Y'all following Ab and all these other motherfuckers. Some of them gone. Because you know they're full of shit. Talking about they scholars and they did this, they did that, like they're authority. They won shit 4 or 5 years ago. I was on the reservation when everybody started jumping up on something. And I was just listening and watching. I was going, yeah. Mem doctors, I was the one debunking a lot of shit they were putting out there, saying, wait, I'm an artist, you know. I was like, that's not an American Indian. That's not what you think it is. That is a painting by French painter Pierre one way, fucking they whole game up. And these Moors that keep making all that bullshit. And it wasn't just Moors, it was just some paraplegic mind fuck some individual. Y'all gonna love these motherfuckers right here. I'm not reading, don't call my dummy no dummy. You buy the goddamn book. Rob Bell's doing a little bit from it. Watch her. Jamil, trust me. It's a lot of material. All you can do with that is a fundamental breakdown, but he gives you his family history and everything. Purchase the fucking book and read it. It's in the description, all right? It's in there. It'll be in there if it ain't in there now. Yeah, I'm not cleaning none of my guns. I'm gonna oil them though, just to have them just on, you know, on ready, just in case I have to. had this army, this Marine motherfucker, you know, Major EI, he gonna ask me about this. Like, nigga, I'm retired, force retired Navy. Like, he gonna ask me if I know what the fuck it is. I'm like, this goofy motherfucker, this new generation is some dumb sons of bitches. And so I said, yeah, but I represent Army. And and he said, what it means? I'm like, see, the thing is, I wasn't asking this little young smart, you know, ass. I wasn't asking. Now I respect him. I respect what he's doing. But when you got a lot of shit coming from China, this and another, I question you too. So if you watch this, yeah, homie, you can see me over there, but you know better. Because one day, you know, he kind of tried to, it felt like he was trying to test me or who I was, not knowing. And I gave him a little bit of breath. Like, don't fuck around. Fucking hell, man. I don't play that shit. Goofy motherfucker. You're a branch off the motherfucking Navy, Marines. Remember that shit. And I boxed many motherfuckers and Marines and whooped their asses. Come with that goofy shit. I respect y'all. We respect one another. It's y'all new generation motherfuckers that got the game fucked up. Something wrong with y'all mentally, disturbingly. Y'all need to fix that shit. Seriously. I love this music. I just love this fucking music. And that drawing is pretty decent. I got a couple better drawings of dragons, but that's pretty decent. You know, it's airbrush, y'all. It's beautiful. I like it. I like the color and the mysticism. And if you wonder if I believe in dragons, I believe they existed. I still believe there's some somewhere or something. I just believe they're not gonna let them fucking go unless they want to wreak a whole lot of havoc and then piss the damn things off. But they're easy to destroy too. Is that beautiful music or what? Right? It's beautiful, isn't it? I still got a little headache, y'all. Yeah, I know. I had that damn helmet on my head, so my hair is all over the place. That's a ballistic hammer. That's a ballistic hammer. I have an airsoft. I think I gave it to my boy to use. He does the air paintball shit, so I gave him that one. That's the real deal. Yes, sir. $600 worth of real deal. And though I have a bunch of boots, I only use the original issue Desert and Reeboks. Reebok. I have the high tech shit that I used when I was in the Navy, steel toe versions, and then the regular ones too. When I was doing like training, I was thinking about going to the police force after things would work out. Good old boy network was hard at work, but the Reeboks, I love them. The Reebok Tacticals, excellent. I like, me personally, I like a little weight on around my ankles and stuff. I do. I guess because of all the running I did. It doesn't bother me. Because a lot of people like light stuff for long trudges, which makes sense. But I always say, as long as you got a good arch support in that bitch, and your toes, you can move them a little bit, and there's no sliding back and forth, and they can breathe, you can mitigate some good terrain. You can really make some time. I've walked in them for 4 to 5, 6 hours, man. And I could have kept going. I mean, it's working on, endurance and strength and breathing. I mean, I force breathe when I'm walking, like, to get more oxygen in. And at first, in the beginning, it feels a little uncomfortable. Like right now, I should be doing like every hour or two, I should be doing like 50 deep breaths of hyperventilation. I get lazy. Honestly, I do. I get lazy. I gotta put all that shit up. tomorrow Saturday, right? Right now, it's just easy access. I got to replenish the ammo and fill the mags up. Yeah. I said I was going to get right into it, but I got to practice doing this. I have the little 30-minute, 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute little clock shit I can put on this right in the beginning. All that goofy shit. All I got to do is edit it. That's the only one. If I was to edit and upload a video, I have it for that. I don't have it where I can. There are people who know how to do the live, but they use another platform. Was it Livid or something like that? I forget what it is. I could do it with Melon. It has the platform, and I could do it with StreamYard. It has them where you get the bubbles and set up your screen. You could do the 30-second, or you could, excuse me, you can go and upload longer ones, colors and all that. I'm not going to do all that. I had to recite my Micmac in. I don't know. It was off about 8 clicks to the left and 4 clicks up down. I had to go. It was weird because when I popped off, I was like, wait a minute. It was spot on. You know, I was like, wait a minute. I don't know. So I didn't put the blue. I didn't Loctite it. So I'm gonna Loctite it. So when I go out tomorrow, yes, I'm going back out again tomorrow. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Loctite in and sight it. And because what happens is it got loose, the bottom part. So I can Loctite it now. So I'll do it tomorrow out there in the range. I actually picked up a new thing of Loctite. Never use red Loctite, people. Blue, you can break that. And don't use white. Feels like it's going away a little bit. Yeah, it feels like it's going away. We're going to turn this down. Let's go again into the reading. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. But they call this like ambient fantasy music. Medieval, whether you want to say Dutch or Viking or Nordic, whatever. It's whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? So. Magnesium. All right. Enoch. Let's get into you, brother. 62, right? Yeah, I want to read this part. Now, let's just say that this is all fantasy to give people a false sense of hope. What can that do for a person? And I'm going to say something after that as an expression of what you're doing, what a lot of us are doing, or what we're doing right now. Let's say that they created it, an enemy of unfathomable magnitude.
to give everybody a false history and a false sense of hope. Well, what state are we in right now? Why are so many people taking their lives and betraying their family members and hold themselves to it? And then we have false representation of punishment based under the guise of lies. So what's the difference if that's the case? Which one actually feels better? Knowing that you're living in a lie? Are you listening to something that can uplift your spirits a little bit? And I'm not talking about the religious dichotomy of it. I am talking about the hope of self. Do you get it? Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm expressing? Chapter 62. And thus the Hawa commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, and said, and those who dwell on the earth, as if there's no others, right? Right? That's what it alludes to. I mean, my interpretation. And said, open your eyes and lift up your horns, if ye are able to recognize the elect one. And the Hawa of light seated him on the throne of his magistrate or glory, and the spirit of righteousness, the Hawa of righteousness, was poured out upon him. And the word of his mouth slays all the Jannah, the darkness, and all the unrighteous are destroyed from before his face. And there shall stand up in that day all the kings and the mighty and the exalted, not fake ass presidents, and the mighty and the exalted, and those who hold the earth. You know why there's no king here? Because we still walk here. We're still here. Don't you call me one. And the exalted, and those who hold the earth. And they shall see and recognize how he sits. Turn down a little more. I know I don't want to be in battle with the music. You can turn down very low, actually. And all the unrighteous are destroyed before his face. And there shall stand up in that day all the kings and the mighty. Again, not the presidents. Because we still walk. And exalted, and those who hold the earth. And they shall see and recognize how he sits on the throne of his glory. And righteousness is judged before him. So those who profess so, okay. I seek righteousness. I am far from it. And that's not to just to deny myself of that. And no lying word is spoken before him. Then shall pain come upon them as on a woman in travail. Yes, women, travail. Not labor. Which I guess you could say means the same thing, but it doesn't. Labor. That means work done for a source outside of yourself. And she has pain in bringing forth when her child enters the mouth of the womb. And she has pain in bringing forth, and one portion of them shall look on the other, and they shall be terrified, and they shall be downcast of countenance. And pain shall seize them when they see that Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and extol him who rules over all, who was hidden. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might. and revealed him to the elect. Does that sound like somebody who came or was walking around? No, there've been many prophets, and they're all on the walls. They murdered and killed them, except for the ones. Well, they murdered them, but they're not here. They're on the walls, people. And the Most High preserved him for the presence of his might, and revealed him to the elect. And the congregation of the elect and the holy shall be sworn. And all the elect shall stand before him on that day. And all the kings and the mighty and the exalted and those who rule the earth shall fall down before him on their faces and worship and set their hope. It's not like it's asking, it's going to happen. Upon that Son of Man, and petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Is it one Son of Man, or that of Ab or origin? That taken away or put away. Pay attention to these words, y'all. And petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Haven't they betrayed man? And petition him and supplicate for mercy at his hands. Hands. Nevertheless, the Havah of light will so press them. That they shall hastily go forth from his presence, and their faces shall be filled with shame, and the darkness grow deeper, and we know what the darkness is, grows deeper on their faces. And he will deliver them to the angels for punishments, the luminaries, the angelic, to execute vengeance on them because they have oppressed his children, his elect. Or that one and the same, his children and his elect. And they shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. They shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Most High, of the Havah of the light, resteth upon them. And his sword is drunk with their blood. I want y'all to look up some of the readings and writings on drunk with blood. You know, the old samurai and the souls and the sword that he tires. And the righteous and elect shall be saved on that day. And they shall never thenceforward see the face of the sinners and unrighteous. And the Havah of light will abide over them. And with that Son of Man shall they eat, and lie down and rise up forever and ever. It's not like a meal, people, not as professed in some scholarly work of fiction. And lie down and rise up forever and ever. It's like, remember the Black Panther when they drank that purple shit, close their eyes, and then when they come up, you know, I'm just using that as to help you understand what is being said. And the righteous and elect shall have risen from the earth and cease to be of downcast countenance. And they shall have been clothed with garments of glory, and these shall be the garments of life from the Havah of light. And your garments shall not grow old, nor your glory pass away before the Havah of light, with these chemicals and poisons y'all put into your armpits. How they make synthetic, and they use our cotton for weapons and war. In those days shall the mighty and the kings who possess the earth implore him to grant them a little respite from his luminaries of punishment, to whom they were delivered, that they might fall down and worship before the Havah of light, and confess their sins before him. And they shall bless it and glorify the Havah of lights, and say, blessed is the Havah of lights, and the light of kings, and the Havah of the mighty, and the light of the rich, and the light of glory, and the light of wisdom. And splendid in every secret thing is thy power from generation to generation, and thy glory forever and ever. Deep are all thy secrets, innumerable. That means unknown. That means there's no number. It's unmeasurable. And thy righteousness is beyond reckoning. We have now learnt that we should glorify. In the last minute, huh? And bless the Hawa of kings, and him who is king over all kings. And they shall say, would that we had rest to glorify and give thanks, and confess our faith before his glory? And now we long for a little rest, but find it not. We follow hard upon and obtain it not. And light has vanished from before us. And darkness is our dwelling. There's enough place forever and ever. So they'll cry out and everything. It makes no sense what they do. They can make it right now, but their ignorance, they're sublime. And darkness is our dwelling place forever and ever, for we have not believed before him, nor glorified the name of the Hawa of light, nor glorified the Hawa. But our hope was in the scepter of our kingdom, and in our glory, that man-made fiction, that destruction, that's enough. And in the day of our suffering and tribulation, he saves us not, and we find no respite for confessions, that our Creator is true in all, his words, and his works, and his judgment, and his justice. And his judgment has no respect of persons. Yeah, what sympathy is needed for those who choose to stay on the course they're on? And we pass away from before his face on account of our works, and all our darkness are reckoned up in righteousness. Now they shall say unto themselves, our souls are full of unrighteous pain, but it does not prevent us from descending from the midst thereof into the burden of Sheol. And after that, their faces shall be filled with darkness and shame before the Son of Man, and they shall be driven from his presence, and the sword shall abide before his face in their midst. Thus spake the Hawa of light. This is the ordinance and judgment with respect to the mighty and the kings and the exalted and those who possess the earth before the Lord. We're going to use that word of spirits. So what does that illuminate to, people? What does that illuminate to? What does it illuminate to, people? First of all, there's no hell, fire, and all that goofy shit. See, they gave you something that could be terminal. They gave you something to give you a visual and the ignorance. No, it's worse than that. Imagine looking upon something and you can't even stand. You can't even. There is no toughness and no badass, and there's none of that. This is they're compelled to be stuck in their stupidity, with maybe even the desire to stop. They went so far, and it's not just here, y'all. It's everywhere. Let's say that we have a creator for just this sector or this earth. What about the others? Yesterday we was at It's time. It is time, girls. Miss Estes is yelling and ushering the girls outside into the horse-drawn wagon. It is cold and there is sleep falling down around them. Bonnie clutches onto her coat and buries her face into her thick black scarf. It smells like nothing as she imagines it smelling like her mother. Or rather, what she imagines her mother would have smelled like. She looks back at Miss Estes and wonders if she will ever see her again. The carriage starts to move and Miss Estes walks back inside. She doesn't even wave them off, and it saddens Bonnie deeply. They arrive at the ocean after a few hours on the road. The waves are loud and there are things floating in the water. They look like long and oddly shaped buildings scattered all over the place. Ships? These are the things we learnt about, she thinks. People are climbing into them, and they all have the same sad and lost look on their pale and unsure faces. It will take them 2 months to get to a place called the Americas, and from there the girls will be dispersed to their new homes and, more importantly, to their new husbands. The orphans? Sounds familiar, people? The orphan boats and orphan trains? Bonnie, come over here and stay by me. You stay close and don't listen to anyone else. You two will stay with me until we get there. Do you understand? Stacy grabs them both by their frozen hands and toddles off towards the big wooden ship that is docked at the harbor. Stacy looks out for them. She has always acted as their protector, in a way. Their mother. She keeps them by her side all the way to the Americas, takes care of them when they got seasick, and made sure they had enough to drink and eat. The days pass by slowly, and the air is stale and foul-smelling inside the cabins. 5 girls are squashed into a small room with only 2 beds between them, and they are forced to take turns sleeping on the floor. There isn't nearly enough food, and the water is dirty and tastes reused at times. They finally arrive in New York, and it is just as cold here as it was in Ireland. Bonnie stands near the deck and takes a peek outside, and her weary eyes fixate on this huge metallic-looking structure standing in the middle of the water. It is of a lady. She is painted gold, and she is wearing some sort of band around her head with spikes coming out. Painted gold, people. With spikes coming out of it. In her one hand, she's holding a flame, and in the other is a metal stab. Bonnie stares at this lady and is mesmerized by her, wondering who she is. Bonnie, come back inside. It is freezing and you will catch a cold. Bonnie dully follows Stacy back inside and takes a seat on the floor next to Mary. Now listen to me, girls. In a few minutes, we will part ways. She looks them each in eye individually. You will be on your own, and you need to go to where you were told to go. Okay? She looks at Mary and can see she isn't listening properly. She is too nervous. If you are unsure, you must just ask someone to help you. They will know where you need to go. She takes an excited breath and fixes her hair. Always remember to put on a pretty smile and say thank you, she says as her eyes glow with excitement for her new life. The girls stay seated for a while, and when they hear the horn honk, they slowly get up and stand in line, waiting for the ship to dock. Each girl has a standard, small and compact wooden suitcase, clutched in their sweaty and nervous hands. Inside is an extra outfit and a piece of soap. This is all they own in their entire identity. Mind you, an identity given to them. It will be the job of your husband to provide for you. This is what Miss Estes would always say to them, and they never questioned anything she said or did. Bonnie always wondered how the men chose the girls. She asked Miss Estes this question once, about 3 years ago, and she got 10 lashes as an answer. You don't ask questions to certain things, Bonnie. You do as you're told. It's a terrifying world out there, and the less you know, the better. She would always bark at her and shake her head in anger and frustration, then stomp off loudly. A horn honks in the distance, and it means they can leave the ship. Stacy grabs Mary by the hand, and in turn, Mary grabs Bonnie, and they start to march off the ship and onto the dock. Stacy is confident, and Bonnie can see a hint of adventure in her. Even though the rest of the girls are terrified, and Bonnie wonders if she knows something that perhaps the rest of them don't. They reach a counter with a man in a black top hat, and Bonnie is last in line. She patiently waits her turn and notices that he is wearing a dark gray suit. It doesn't fit him properly, and he has a big, thick, and black mustache. "Pass, miss," he says routinely, without looking up at her. Bonnie just freezes and stares at the man and doesn't respond to his request. "I can't let you in without a pass," he says. Visibly irritated, he has a weird accent and a certain calmness about him that reminds her of home. "Oh, I'm sorry. Here it is." She hands him her pass and notices her hand is shaking. She blushes, and he hands her the pass back with a red stamp on the middle page. "Good luck to you, miss." He smiles and calls out for the next person to step up to the counter. She returns a nervous yet sincere smile and quickly picks up her suitcase and follows the crowd in front of her. She looks around for Stacy and Mary, but she can't see them anywhere. They must be gone already. That was quick, and she wonders why they didn't wait for her. There are many people in New York, and she has never before seen so many people in one place. Her eyes suddenly wander to her surroundings, and she realizes she is in a massive structure. She would guess it is 20 meters high and wide. It is so very long. "What is this place?" she mutters while her mouth hangs open in awe of what her eyes are permitted to witness. "Out of the way!" A nervous-looking girl bumps into her and scurries on ahead. She is wearing a bright red coat, and Bonnie wonders where she got it. She has never seen such nice colors before, and the thought of wearing something other than black suddenly excites her. At the foundling home, the girls were only permitted to wear dark clothes, black and navy blue. Miss Esther said it made them more equal this way, and Bonnie never thought more about it. A real lady doesn't draw attention to herself. She would say to the girls during their etiquette lessons that Bonnie was always so fond of. In that moment, Bonnie tears up and she realizes that she will miss her. She was mean, the meanest of all the caretakers, but she is all she had and all she knew. Bonnie turned 18 years of age just 2 days ago and was told that she was fortunate to be going to Canada. Apparently, it was very nice up there, and the men are handsome. At least, that is what Miss Kent used to always tell her. Bonnie has only ever seen a few men in her entire life, and most were old. She can't even imagine what a young man her age must look like. She starts to smile at the thought and carries on walking briskly. She hears a man calling from Montreal, and her head instinctively turns in that direction. "That is where I need to go," she calls out. This is brand new. She calls out and pushes through the crowd to reach him. "I need to go to Montreal, Canada. Please and thank you." She hands him her ticket, and he lets her climb onto the train. This train is much bigger than the one that she took back home, and the seats have a pretty blue and gray fabric covering them. She walks inside and finds an empty seat and sits down gently. Completely unsure of herself, she stares out of the window and watches the people scurry around outside, like the ants did in the garden at the foundling home. She always found the ants to be very fascinating. There were days when she would sneak outside and just watch them climb the wall with whatever they found firmly in their mouths. They never seemed to tire or lose their way, and she admired that about them. "Do you mind if I sit here?" Her thoughts are interrupted, and Bonnie looks up to put a face to the squeaky voice that startled her. "No." She quickly moves over and leans into the window to try and make space, even though there's plenty already. Thanks, my name is Dora, the young girl says as she sits down. Dora the Explorer, no, excuse me. She is elegant and has porcelain skin that is almost white. I'm from a small town near Manchester. Do you know where that is? She asks and puts some more red lipstick on. She is confident and it reminds her of Stacy. Bonnie looks at her and shakes her head. No, I don't. I'm sorry. She looks down at her hands in embarrassment. Don't look so nervous, girl. I'm sure the men are just as nervous to meet you and I. Why? Why would they be nervous to meet us? She asks, and she asks, confused. Well, they don't know what kind of girl they will be stuck with. Then again, I heard from a girl, basically a friend of a friend, that some of the men don't approve of the girls they are assigned, and they outright refuse to marry them. She pulls a face of horror and giggles to herself. That won't happen to me. Are you? Luckily, in fact, that's why I chose to sit next to you. She pats her on the leg and gives her a wink. What do you mean? What do you mean? She crinkles her nose and pouts her lips briefly, like she is confused by Bonnie's question. Well, she leans in closer to her. You are pretty. Have you seen some of the other girls? They really don't have very pretty faces. Men like pretty faces. It is just the way it is. She leans back in her seat and wiggles to get comfortable. Bonnie clears her throat and rubs her hands together, but she doesn't make eye contact with Dora or anyone else. What? What happens to the girls that get rejected by the men? She finally asks and swallows hard. Dora looks over at her and takes her right hand in hers. No idea, sweetie, but you won't have to worry about that. Now close your eyes and get some rest. It is a long trip from what I hear, and Bonnie does as she says, and she falls asleep. An hour into the trip, she falls asleep an hour into the trip, excuse me. Head's starting to throb a little bit. She dreams that she is standing in front of a small stone house with big square and wooden windows. There are orange curtains swaying in the wind, and the air is crisp. Inside it is a man dressed in a suit, and he calls out to her to join him inside. She walks into the kitchen happily, and he tells her to sit down. He has important news to tell her. I found your parents. They are alive, and you have a sister. Her name is... He pauses briefly. She is lovely. She stands up and gives him a loving hug. Thank you. Thank you for finding them. When can I go see them? He looks at her confused. See them? Why would you want to see them, Ronnie? He asks and tilts his head in a confusion. Well, they are my family. She stands there confused and watches his expression change to one of anger. Another man appears at the door and he is holding some chains that clang against each other. And he has a stern look, I believe, on his face. Let's get over here. On his face. Young girls aren't allowed to ask questions. He scoffs at her and reaches out to grab her. No, she mutters. Please, I'm sorry. She feels him grab her by the shoulder and shakes her hand. And shakes her heart, excuse me. Wake up, sweetie. It is all just a dream. We are almost there, says that squeaky voice, which is familiar to her now. Bonnie opens her eyes slowly and looks around, trying to orientate herself. She looks over at Dora, and she is sitting on the edge of her seat with anticipation. She all of a sudden notices her light reddish blonde hair. It is illuminated by the way the sun is shining through the window of the train, and it bothers her just how different she looks. She is pretty. Even Bonnie could say so, and her husband will like her. Will my husband like me, she wonders? The train finally stops, and she climbs out looking around her and watches all the people hurry to their destinations. It is cold and it is snowing, but the snow seems heavier and thicker here than back home. There's chatter and giggling, and it makes her look towards the left of where she is standing, and she notices a massive building, and it completely takes her breath away. She has never seen something this big before, and she wonders who could have built it. It is made of red-looking stone or brick. It has a green roof with many point edges, and she noticed these odd, long metal poles and interesting looking ornaments all over the roof of this building. You know that building is no longer there, right? As she gets closer, she sees a small golden sign that has Chateau Frontenac. I'm not pronouncing that right in French, excuse me. Written on it, and she wonders what that means and walks inside. She pauses at the door and traces the detail of the stone statue that is right in front of her with her eyes and can't help but feel it doesn't belong there, but rather somewhere outside. In the town square, perhaps, she thinks. The man is holding a metal pole and some kind, and it has 14 little knobs on it. She wonders who he is and what the pole is for. He is tall and looks like a warrior. She can't help but feel that he looks like her somehow, and it gives her goosebumps on her arms. Underneath her warm coat, you remember that pole with the jewels on it, right? Arms underneath her warm coat. She shakes them off quickly and walks past the statue, admiring everything around her. The rest of this building is even more breathtaking than the foyer was. There are big white and gray marble pillars at every corner, red carpets and golden ornaments and finishings on every single window and door. There's another big statue of a man in the middle of the room, but he looks less important than the first one. He is smaller, and he exudes an arrogance that makes him seem left, wanting, and lacking of any real talent and prominence. The material used is also of a less superior quality, and so is the workmanship. This man is definitely of no real significance, yet he is placed in the center of the room, and it bothers her. The clock chimes suddenly, and it breaks her thought. She walks up to the front desk and smiles at the lady with the white blonde colored hair and blue eyes. Hello. Hi. My name is Bonnie. I am here to see Malcolm Harrington, please. Her hands are sweating in her gloves, and she wipes them over her coat, reminding herself that this is the moment she has been trained for, since the day she arrived as a foundling. Please head over to the sunroom dining hall and ask for Walter. He will take you to him. She points to where Bonnie must walk, and Bonnie trots off. She stops at the door to the dining hall, quickly fixes her hair, gives each cheek a little pinch for some color, and enters the room. The room is bright and cheerful. People are sitting at round tables with white tablecloths, enjoying a cup of coffee and a slice of cake. There are bright orange roses in the corner by the window, and she wonders where they came from. Can I help you, miss? A polite voice asks her, and she turns to look at him. Yes. Good day. My name is Bonnie. Mr. Harrington? As in Malcolm Harrington is expecting me. She smiles awkwardly at the man, and she can feel her heart pounding hard in her chest. Read one more paragraph. This way, madam. He walks briskly ahead and stops at a table at the far end of the room. There is a man seated with his back towards her. He is reading a book and sipping on a small cup of coffee. The aroma is strong, and it fills her nose as she walks up to him. Walter leans in and whispers something to the man and hurries back to the entrance to help the next customer. The man gets up and faces her with a warm smile. He pauses and gives her a surprised look, then stretches out his hand to greet her. It is nice to finally meet you, Bonnie, he says, and his eyes glisten so soft blue. She takes his hand in hers. They are big and warm, and she suddenly is much calmer. Please take a seat. Can I order you something? Are you hungry? He asks politely. Bonnie nods. She is very hungry. He orders her a slice of apple pie and a cup of coffee. He watches her eat and doesn't say a single word. He just watches her. Now, we're going to stop there and we'll pick up where she's eating the pie and what it loses from there. Now, I know some of you are probably saying in your Racist dichotomy. Where's the melanated people? Well, you heard where she just came from. You know what year this is based upon the time. Statue of Liberty has been established and is still shimmering bronze or gold. Now, those from the before and who were born, that's why it's important to read some of the books that some of us have expressed to you about the mudslides, the mud floods, Tartaria, and there would be a better understanding why in the 19th century was the destruction so imminent and personal of the buildings of Tartaria. 90% on this land destroyed. Yet many still stand, but 90% shows that you cannot imagine what was seen. This is gonna be pretty awesome. I already read that yesterday. So the Atlantean polar pillar, arguably the oldest polar mythology, is that of Atlas, the king of Atlantis, who held the entire world upon his shoulders. Atlas had 7 daughters, the Hesperides, who spent their days dancing around the tree of life, also coiled around the tree and guarding its golden apples of immortality, lived the serpent Ladin. The kingdom of Atlantis was shaped as concentric circles of land, separated by concentric circles of water, with the temple of Poseidon residing in the very center, where sacred bulls roamed around freely, and sacrificial bulls. Blood was poured over the exterior of the temple. The actual medical term for the topmost 33rd vertebrae of the spine, which holds up the human skull, is the atlas. And this is a fact, y'all. Pre-med, it's a fact. The world, the atlas, the 33rd, holds up the human skull is the atlas. So when it is said that Atlas metaphorically holds the world upon his shoulders, it is literally your head, mind, which he holds up. Likewise, the temple of Poseidon exists between your temples. On the sides of your head and your skull, when viewed from above, perfectly resembles Atlantis, or a bullseye. Why would the center of a target be called a bullseye anyway? The bullseye at the center is your third eye, the pineal gland, located at the geometric center point of the human brain, and which roams around freely in the chamber of cerebral spinal fluid. This is surrounded by the cerebral cortex, which itself is covered by a layer of constantly flowing, pumping sacrificial blood. Pumping blood, sacrificial bull. And enclosed by the skull cap, 3 concentric circles of solid separated by 2 concentric circles of liquid. The microcosmic tree of life is our cerebral spinal system, with its multitudinous system, with its branching nerves and ganglia, and the 7 Hesperides who dance around and guard the tree of life, are the 7 chakras, 7 energy centers along the spinal column where key organs exist, namely the cerebrum, the pineal gland, the throat, the heart, the navel, the sacrum, and the perineum. Lastly, the serpent-laden coil around the tree of life is transformative Kundalini, serpent energy, which lies coiled at the base of the spine, trapped by 4 fused lower vertebrae. These are the things you need to focus on, people, when meditating and breathing. That's your universe. That's your enlightenment. That's your force factor. Science has now discovered in a most unexpected manner both the tree and the river of life. The former is the brain and spinal cord of man. We do not mean that the brain merely looks like a tree or resembles one externally. We are not dealing with analogies, but we do mean that the brain and spinal cord are an actual tree. By the most rigid scientific examination, it is shown to fill the ideal type and plan of a tree more completely than any tree of the vegetable kingdom. The spinal cord is the trunk of this great tree. Its roots are the nerves of feeling and motion branching out over the body. The tree of life is planted in the midst of many others. For the heart is a tree, the lungs are a tree, and the pancreas, stomach, liver, and all those vital organs. The brain is its radiant and graceful foliage. The mental faculties are classified in 12 groups by the most recent scientific analysts. When you die, your brain is the last 3 to 5 minutes as the oxygen depletes, remember? And carbon doesn't take over because the heart has ceased. This tree bears 12 kinds of fruit. On each side of the tree of life is the great river of life. Let us lay a man down with his head to the north and his arms stretched to the west and to the east. The river of life has its 4 heads. In the 4 chambers of the heart, the 2 oracles and the 2 ventricles. The branches of this river pass upward to the head and the land of gold, eastward to the left and westward to the right arm and lung. But greatest of all the branches, the river are Frath, or the aorta and vena cava, reaching southward to the trunk and lower limbs. In branching over the body, the river divides into 4 parts at 7 different points. 2 branches of the river form a network around the very trunk of the tree, spread upward among its expanding branches. The blood is the water of life, and it looks as clear as crystal when seen through the microscope. The eye of science, it is 3/4 water, and through this are diffused the red cells and the living materials, which are to construct and to maintain the bodily organs. That is Dr. William Warren, Paradise Found, the cradle of the human race at the North Pole. Now, before thinking this some new age nonsense or spiritual woo-woo without basis in physical reality, remember these allegories are actually ancient, several millennia old, and meant to encode yogic wisdom, as shown in my book, The Atlantean Conspiracy, which I want to order that. Cultures are diverse and separated as the Indian and Mayan civilizations shared these identical mythologies since long before Columbus. Shakla in Mayan refers to the body's energy centers exactly like the Indian chakra system. Kultanali in Mayan refers to the power of God within man controlled by the breath, just as the Indian yogis claim in Kundalini. And Yogha in Mayan means on top of truth, just as the word yoga means in ancient Sanskrit, furthermore. Uphold the world on his shoulders, and in Mayan, Atul, is found in the names of most of their gods, with one of its meaning being the top of the head. Suffice to say, these are archaic, long-known concepts and not some new age fad. And we'll pick up the other part tomorrow. Which I knew y'all would find that interesting. What did I do with the? I placed it. Oh, is it in here? Oh, it's in there. Not booking. I hope that was all right. I hope you got what was meant to be gotten from it. Who all came in? Rondo, what's going on? Peace, what's going on, family? APJR, what's happening? Shatahaya, peace and blessings. Some reference to comments. Ezra chapter 11, verse 20. Yeah, I know. Just came, okay, I know about that. Oh, y'all didn't let him know who was that? Y'all supposed to let the brother know. Listen, Energy Naga, what's going on, Kogan Koga? Yeah, well, anyway, it's the same 3 books that I'm going to read until I finish all 3 together. And then we'll get into Mudflow 101 and Tartaria. And I'm really good at breaking down Tartaria. I know so much about it. I've been studying it for so many years, visiting many of the buildings that are very ancient, pointing out things people didn't even know. And then if y'all remember, I did a live where I showed you what the word established means. I broke it down. It means built when placed. And I know some people were like, what? And there was a picture I put up a while back. It was a post. And I showed one of the buildings and it had established, what was it, 798 or 978 or something like that? 790. I think it was 789, whatever it was. Well, there's some older than that, y'all. There's some that says established 526. So that'd be the year 526 people. And we already know the quote that I read from, and I'll read it again. Because I mean, I love this quote. I mean, it alone debunks all the crap that we're dealing with. And in his book that was published in 1984, every record has been destroyed or falsified. Every book rewritten. Every picture has been repainted. Every statue and street building has been renamed. Every date has been altered, and the process continues day by day and minute by minute. History has stopped. And that's George Orwell. And we know that they destroyed a lot. I can't even get into all the things they destroyed. I showed y'all Lackawanna Plaza where I grew up that was raised. And you can see that the whole town was raised above Lackawanna Plaza. And Lackawanna Plaza also has a train station that was elevated as well underground where I grew up at. A lot of the buildings there are long gone. They were all built of red clay. They were different. As far as energy goes. Let me pull this up. Okay, this was if I remember right, I believe this was somewhere in California. They had already destroyed quite a bit, and they were still busy destroying quite a bit after the World's Fair. And you can see all the idiots standing down who are part of the destruction of our old world. Their statues crumbled in the street. This is destruction, y'all. They didn't build this. Though it was part of the World's Fair, they destroyed it all. You believe Queen Khalifa lived running around with feathers in her hair and all that, and yeah, something's wrong with you majestically. When we look at Captain Ion Smith, right? John Smith. We know that this picture is a fraud. We know that this picture is a fraud. And that's the reason why I have it. A complete fraud. A very, very complete fraud. For those in the knowing or knowledge today, know these things. Where's that? One. These are ancient Mayan scripts. For those who don't want to believe in the custodians and Anunnaki. I saw somebody put up the Anunnaki. We were the gods. Oh, shut up. They amazed me with that. Okay, is this tree is nowhere as big as the one that I stood on with my service dog. Y'all know where Bruce Lee's buried at, right? Well, I went up there, and there's this beach you have to walk over this long log. It's a long trip down. All kind of edible vegetation all around. Some of the crazy stuff that you won't see nowhere. And then when you get down to this beach, which is not really a beach, you see this long, big rock out there that looks like an elephant, petrified. Giant. I'm talking about hundreds of feet tall. I mean, it's an elephant. And then it looks like a baby one right behind it, like it was frozen in time. And these trees, every year, when the tide comes in and goes out, brings big trees up and takes other ones out. The tree that I stood on, I walked up on, I got a picture, I got to pull it up on Facebook, was 2 times bigger than that. We walked, me and my service dog and Pearl walked inside the tree and came back out, and I went and climbed up. There were trees where Jeeps drove up on. This is San Francisco. You think they built that 1800s? You think they built that in 1800s, 1890? You really believe they could build that? World's Fair. You think they could build something like that? You see the Capitol building all the way in the end? No. These idiots couldn't build that, but they destroyed it. This is Chicago. Bird's eye view. If you think they can build that, there's something wrong with your head. They didn't build that. It's always been there. And Chicago's not even the real name of it. This is New York. And they incorporated many of the buildings of old. It had a gilded date on it. I can't remember. This right here is 1832. Homes on the outskirts in Chicago. Okay. New York City. 1800s. New York City. 1800s. I've got so many. I'm not gonna sit here and hold them all up in there. There's just so many. And these are the betraying ass niggas of the Black Caucus back in 1960s. That's in England. And they make them into churches. So you can't go to them and use them for what they're supposed to be used for. This here in America. I think that was Newark, New Jersey. All that serves a purpose, people. Them fools didn't build that. They incorporated it. Ancient stuff. Thousands of years old. The United States Post Office, Broadway, Park Row, and Mell Street. Well, it's no longer there. They destroyed it. There was no post office, people. It was for protection. Yeah. This is the 1800s, people. I'm going to show you. This is what they want you to believe, Hawaiians. This is closer to the sleeping with the woman, making that. But this is a real Hawaiian. You see that, nigga? Real Hawaiian. What do you see today? And to be without the clothes, that means you can put on the armor and you can fight. But at the time when we were at peace, nobody was attacking us for all of millennia. The fuck we wearing? What we need to dress up for? We had clothes. Everybody knew how to dress. Well, to put on clothes, I hate that word dress. That's another curse. All right, spell. There was no need for it. I didn't think they were able to come and do the dumb shit they did. We thought the earth was love, it was peace. But you know, lepers, who was easy to subjugate to a rule to change and manifest something different. Well, if enemies came back, they wanted to destroy, what would they do? They get the less suspected when all peace everything is good. It's like somebody coming in armed and everybody's chilling. And next you know, they just start blah, 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 blah. And they so mentally ill, they kill themselves. Like, do you get where I'm coming from? How you think we got to where we're at right now? If not by way of betrayal and the mentally ill and the sick. And you see how they carry themselves now, dressed up in decor. They got to read everything because it's damn sure ain't in their hearts. Yeah, Michelle, nobody talks about them no more. Why? Because they run all around us. Hey, what's up, Floyd? What's going on? Yes, lies and thieves do run together. And the sad part is people make a choice. You know, everybody's got a choice, but everybody's going to answer at the end. And no matter what they believe, they're going to have to answer. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. But it is what it is. I appreciate everybody coming in. I hope you guys share this. I guess I'll go ahead and spend the rest, but I get maybe about $50 or $60 more, and I'll go ahead and order those books. I want to get them all. I want to order them all at one time instead of broken. Oh man, I got a headache trying to come on. Let me spit this shit out. Even though it's all supposed to be healthy and helping my throat. Headache coming on, people. All that bloom, 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 bloom. Nah, it ain't that bad. I gotta eat something, guys. I gotta eat something. Put something in my system. I'll be glad when the time comes while I'm not here or I'm here and I don't have to ever eat again. And I've been studying the diets. They didn't eat that much anything. They didn't hardly drink shit. Tartary, nobody hardly ate a whole bunch of shit. They had feasts, I guess you call it a feast every once in a blue moon, but it was very medicinal and healthy. It was just, and always moving. Always, everybody was always moving. It wasn't about hustle and bustle to get this done and that and in a rush. Everybody was having fun. The kids ran with the old ones. It was longevity at its best. Now you see everybody's having heart attacks, like out the freaking off the chain. Like nobody can account for that. They want everybody to be quiet, like it's going like so-called billions. I don't think those 8 billion people on Earth, but all these billions of people, regardless. Like nobody's supposed to say nothing. It's about control, man. It's a sickness. And anybody thinks that it's okay and allows it. This is morbid. That's morbid. I'm about to gobble down some damn food like a mother. Keep my blood pressure down. No salt. Excuse me. Still coughing a little bit of that cold down. But I appreciate everybody hanging in there. I read a little more because this book's really going to start getting really meaty. And I wanted to give you the so-called Statue of Liberty. That's not what the fuck it was called. It was liberation for them, but not so much. And the fact that the fall of Tartaria wasn't that long ago, and most of the history that people have been taught are fictional characters. I now believe George Washington to be fictional. No, I really do. I've been doing a lot of research on that character. And I've been finding other individuals, but I'll be down the road. We'll get into that. And it alludes to someone else, but the character they painted, and they can make a death mask of anybody and call it whatever they want to keep a lie going. Abe Lincoln was real, and a Negro. And all that malundering shit and all that other bull crap. Every book in history that's still affordable and available, it shows him to be a tall, dark, swarthy black man. Okay? And I believe him to be the actual only president. I believe before that were khans or kings and all that other shit. Not one book from the past enumerates some presidency. It's all kingdoms that were power sources. And it wasn't ruled. It was magnified by the individuals, the people, who were one heart, one conscience. Though there were those who did some perverse things, they were dealt with accordingly. So many things are coming out, but the lies are so. If you tell so many lies, but you get these orphans, no matter how they came to be, and you educate them in this form or this way that you're this, that, and other, and then you on top of that, you compile it with a narrative of those who have been nurtured and raised in the lie as well. They're compatible. And so that's a new generation of ideas, ideology, and history. And if you do it over 100 years, what do you get? Isn't it funny how we're waking up and we're seeing all this stuff? They didn't destroy everything. And it's right now, they really don't care. You see what I'm saying? And it's not, I know some people will sit there and say, well, why are you reading that book? Well, what I'm doing is I'm formulating this, taking the mystery and lifting the veil from it. I'm allowing you to listen and it doesn't matter about the crayon color, because there were pale skins here. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If this was the center of where everybody came from, this is all one landmass. And the deluge happened. It's historically written. But a party of us not from our tribe and clans, decided to do some very wicked things, and some of our people played a part, as you see today. Now, how do we take honor back? Well, we honor our ancestors, and we honor one another. Now you have a little more insight on why I said what I said earlier, both times, and times before. I know most people can't hang in there. They can't stand their ground. They don't want to hear this and that. We're not here for those who want to hear something to make them feel good. What should make you feel good is something close to the truth. Something steeped with a little bit of historical relevance to facts and things that have happened. We know destruction happened. We know warfare existed. We know that they weren't capable. We know certain bodies were able and they did things. If you don't want to study the Theosophical, the esoteric, and all these different things, you don't want to study what Zionism is. I had one idiot talking about Zionism down there. I was like, yo, okay, bye. Good for you. No. Excuse me. Golf clap. Nobody wants to hear that on this little violin. Not that, yeah. I don't care. I can't sympathize with somebody who is abscond of anything that's relevant to what could be seen. Some of y'all live around things. If you're in New York and New Jersey and you go to the Capitol, have any of y'all really paid attention other than the fact of what they've created to be utilized for? Have any of y'all went to the main library in New York and went, nigga, wait a minute, on Chicago, on Philly, Delaware, nigga, what? Have any of y'all been to Cuba and looked at some of the buildings there? I went to Brazil numerous times, and they destroyed damn near everything there. Thank goodness there are pictures that show before the Dutch, Portuguese, they're all the same. They went in this, And whenever they went to a family married in and attempted to do what they do, some fell in love and realized it's not what they were there for. And when they saw that they couldn't white us out, so-called tarnish us and remove the fictional ideology of a blemish, they would leave and then subjugate us to terror. Something that they should have never done. And those voices can't holler back and say, so what do they want to do now? They want to work with the enemies of life here and composite themselves to create some kind of new thing, mechanical, alive. Ghost in the Shell, ring a bell? Well, I hope that was good for y'all. It was good for me. Anybody else come in? Hey, Lucius, what's going on? Right, all the others face the left. And on the penny, he actually has an afro. And they've changed it, I think, 3 times. I don't know how they have manipulated. That's good. And a lot of us have seen it in books. For those of us who have, like, I used to be one of the ones debunking a lot of the memes Moors were making. You know, being an artist, I've seen the actual ones and be like, no, that's not us. But it is us, but not us per se. Distant relatives. So every time I see somebody running around, like I used to talk to Chief Three Bells Ross, I'd be like, all right, you're wearing the buckskin, but you see what you can put on top of the buckskin. Most of we wore was made out of cotton and hemp, y'all. And eucalyptus, threads, all natural. We didn't have piles of garbage. You know, it's supposed to be the nuclear age and all this other goofy stuff. And you have all these dump sites, all body parts and this. And then recycling water, putting more chemicals in it to try and keep you sick. I talked to old Navajo who worked at the water treatment facility. He said he was doing his best to retire from there, but he said every time they had them bags coming in, he had to dump that into the water. He couldn't believe it. And he says all the Navajos think they're drinking good water coming from the mountains. He says, no, it's going through a water treatment facility. Then you ride by, you smell the little cesspools, and that water's being recycled. Your pee and poop and your medicine. How you think it's getting back in there? The earth has got so much water on it. All our ships take the salt water, well, the fresh water that's out there. Nobody knows it. And the salt water, they make it drinkable and palatable. At the same time, though, they're putting chemicals in that water too, unnecessarily. This is the system. The whole thing is sick, people. Give you a world of imagination, not a good one. Wars and everything else. And in doing so, you're drinking from the water fountain because you're thirsty. You're in a place in a closed environment. They control it. And the narrative is to shorten your lifespan, to make sure that your pineal gland is calcified. Surges are going inside your body and tearing you up. You're giving medication. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is what I've been reading. Legend. I'm not saying it's a fact. I don't want to give no misinformation. Do your own research. I don't know. I studied medicine. It's up to you to determine what you believe or not. You dig what I'm saying? It's up to y'all. Like I said, I'm not here for the masses. I'm here for the few. And I'm going to stand by that. I hope you guys have a grand evening. I hope nobody's going out to get drunk and smoke too much weed, which even that's supposed to be done in a medicinal way. Y'all have a grand evening. I'm about to go and whip me up something to eat because I'm... What? What time is it? What time is it, y'all? Well, it's about 5 o'clock. Yeah, man, I done made this far without eating. Pretty good. Anyway, appreciate you all. I shout you all out. There's nothing but love and respect. And there's a website that shows spring water sites in one state. Look for it where one is. Yeah, I know. I missed the hint, Red, but I still love my silkworms from the south. Oh, okay. 7, always, man. 3697, baby. You already know. Y'all have a grand evening, all right? Number of respect, my beloved ones. I really appreciate y'all sitting still and allowing me to read. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, all right? It's 1 hour and 33 minutes. Whatever, it's all good. It's good to have y'all's company. Have good company. Y'all have a grand evening, okay?